It's Wednesday, so it's time to put about another $100 into the Happy Hallowealth Spooky Savings Challenge book and another $100 into the Paint by Sticker, where I also share some finance perspectives. And this week, I am going to be talking about how I used what I learned at UCLA in the personal finance program to get my financial house in order and build up my net worth. Are you ready? Let's go. Hi, and welcome back to Ready, Budget, Go. My name is Drew, and around here we talk about household budgeting, saving money, and achieving our financial goals. So if we haven't met before, I'd love it if you'd consider subscribing, hit the like button, and leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from everyone who watches my videos. I'm going to start with Happy Hallowealth this week, so I'm going to move this book out of the way. And the goal here is to put about $100 toward my big savings goals, and right now I'm working on the big move. And that is where I'm planning on moving to another state in 2026, and this is saving up for moving expenses, flights, lease on a new apartment, anything that will come up as part of that move. So let me open up the box here for the play money. And I use play money because all of this is going to my high yield savings account. And so, as such, I want to make sure that I'm just transferring it direct rather than withdrawing cash, bringing it home, stuffing it into envelopes, and then taking it out and putting it into my high yield. It's easier just to go from bank to bank. So without further ado, let's get started. I am going to start, as I always do, with Black Cat Witch Hat. I've got the spooky dice here, and let's roll 3 of them to see which one we're going to scratch this week. So we've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I didn't get out a scratch tool, so let me do that real quick, because I feel like I'm never prepared. Okay, so if this is a black cat, we will save $5 for the scratch and $10 for making 3 in a row of the same symbol. But we've also got 2 cats here, so let's see what it is. And it's a witch hat. So we're only going to save $5 for the scratch. And I will clean up the page here real quick. Okay. Moving on. Next is Double Double Toil and Trouble. In this game, we roll 1d6. If it is an even number, we save that amount. If it's an odd number, we double it and save that amount. So let's see what we get this week. We've got a 4. Okay, so we're just going to save the $4. So I will write down a 4. We haven't rolled a 5 or a 6 yet for this challenge. Oh, well, we might have rolled a 6, but we haven't rolled a 5, that's for sure. Okay, so I need 4, so that's 2 and 4. There we go. Next, we've got Goin' Batty. And of course, I didn't take out my stickers either, so let me do that. I think these are in the green binder. They are. And then I also need, of course, my sticker tweezers. So let me pull these out. Okay, let's put, I don't know. Let's do one of these bats over here. Okay. And I am going to stick this bat, I'm going to stick it right on top of that headstone. Okay, and each bat sticker is $5. So I'm going to take back a 5 and put in a 10. And we'll move on to the next challenge. Graveyard Shift. This is a scratch and save challenge, so let's roll 2d6 dice. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to the bottom. And this week we are going to save $4. Okay, clean it off. And I'm just going to take out 2 more 2s. Next is going to be the Haunted House Heist. And we've only got 3 spots left, so we'll roll 1d6. And we got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So right over here, this is a $75 challenge, and it's a double digit, $13. So I'm going to put back a 10 and a 2, and I'm going to take out 25. Okay. Next, we've got Mummy Money, and I'm going to skip this one again just because we've only got one more place to play. So I'm going to skip that for now. And let's do Punkin' Chunkin'. Punkin' Chunkin' is a scratch and save. We've got about 7 spots left, so I'll roll 2d6. And we've got number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go right here. We've got a jack-o'-lantern, and that's going to be worth $3. So I will put back 7 and take out 10. Okay, so we're up to 34. About a third of the way done here. Next, Raving About Saving. This is another sticker challenge, and I always go for the highest number, which is 10. Well, it's the highest number that's left anyway. Here we go. And I will put this raven over here. Okay. I'm going to put back that $10 bill and take out a 20. Moving on. Next is Roll the Bones. And this one, we're rolling 3d6 dice, and we're saving $1 for each throw until we roll either a 7 or a 13. So far, lots of 5s. If I roll a 7 or a 13 on the first roll, it's $5. So we've got 8, so that's 1 roll. And then 10, that's 2 rolls. 9, 3 rolls. 3, 4 rolls. 9, 5 rolls. And there's our 13. Okay, so that was 6 rolls. A new high score. So I'm going to put back this $44 and take out a 50. And that means we're halfway there. We'll go on to the next challenge. Surf the Webs. This one we're just going in order. And so let's see. We're going to go down to the 8. And save $8. 7, 8. I'm following the arrows. I'm not following the order of the numbers. Up next, Trick or Treat. Last time I played this, I finally got a treat instead of more poison, but let's see how we do this time. I'm going to roll all 3d6 dice. And we've got 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see what's under here. Oh no, it's poison. Okay. When we roll a poison, just getting the scratching stuff off here. When we roll a poison, we roll a d6 and save double the amount. So we're going to set those two aside. Be gentle. Oh, 4. Okay, so we're going to save $8. So I'm going to take a 2 back and put in 10. If you find a piece of candy, you save $1. If it's poison, you got to roll a die and double what you roll. All right, and the last challenge in the book is Which Witch. This is another scratch to match, but this time you're just matching the witch symbol. And if you match the witch symbol like I did here, you save an extra $5. Otherwise, it's just $5 for the scratch. So let's roll all 3 dice. And we've got 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Scratch here. And we've got a red witch, and we don't have a match, so we will just save $5 for scratching her. Clean this off. I'm going to put back 15 and take out a 20. Okay. And then let's go back to the front. We'll keep going until we get to $100 saved. All right, so we're back to this one. So let's roll 2d6 dice. And we've got 9, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't think there's a way we can make 3 of a kind here. Oh, we could if this is a witch hat. That would give me a diagonal. So let's see. Nope, it's a cat. Okay. Get this cleaned off. We'll save $5 and we will move on. So we're going to get all of those 3 in a rows pretty close together. Double, double, toil and trouble. Roll a d6. We got a 4, so that's what we're going to save because the number is even. So I will put 6 back and take out a 10. Okay, we're up to $80, so $20 left to save. Going batty is going to be another $5 bat. Let's take one of these bigger ones here. And we'll stick him kind of up here. Or her. And $5 for the bat. Now we're back to the graveyard shift, so let's roll a couple of d6s. Number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is going to be $10. So I'll take back 10 and put in a 20, and we've only got $5 left to save. So we're at 95. So I'm going to skip the haunted house because there's big numbers and there's only 2 spots left. I'm going to skip mummy money. That's also a big saver. And let's do some more pumpkin chunkin'. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6 left, so let's roll. Number 2, 1, 2. This is going to be a whole pumpkin for $2. Okay, and next up I think is Raven About Savin'. Yep. And let's see, I've got 4 birds left. I do have a 3, and that would make it an even 100, but because there's only 4 left, I think, yeah, I'm going to skip this, and I'm going to do Roll the Bones again, because there's more places to play here. So let's do that. Roll all 3 dice, and we've got 8, so that's 1 roll. 5, that's 2 rolls. And there's 13, so 3 rolls. So we did it. Exactly $100. That is so rare. So I will take back 47. Actually, I'm going to take back 97. And we'll take out a 100. I'll start back at the beginning again next week. But for now, let me get into the binder, and I will tell you exactly how much Happy Hallowealth has saved so far. Ooh, we can get a 500 placeholder. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and 13. So let me take a 500 placeholder if I can grab one. I keep them all in here. There they are. Okay. And if you like these Sea Life placeholders, they are available on my Etsy shop, as is the Happy Hallowealth book. So I will put this back, put these in the tray, and I'll put these to the side. So $513 just from playing this in September. Come on, you. So that goes like that. All right, that is it for Happy Hallowealth. I will get out the sticker book and I'll start putting down stickers until I finish the current one that we're working on, which is Holland. And I'll talk about some more perspectives when it comes to personal finance. So stay tuned for that. All right, this week I am finishing up the windmill here for Holland. Next week I'll start working on an ocean liner, and that will be for Normandy, France. So I'm going to put down about 50 stickers or however many is left. I don't know that there are 50. I do know that the entire windmill has 150 stickers to it, and I've been putting away $100 a week for $2 per sticker. So I'll have $300 saved by the time this is all done, and that will have been for 100 a week for 50 stickers. So this week, what I want to talk about to elaborate on where I left off last week is what I learned at UCLA. And I've talked before about what I learned from my classmates in terms of how they viewed people who were coming to financial planners for advice. And to summarize, I think most people that I was in that program with saw dollar signs when they were thinking about the people who came to them for help rather than looking at a person. It was a different world back then. It was prior to 2020, and it was prior to the CFP board, which regulates financial planners, certified financial planners. It was prior to them adopting the fiduciary standard. And again, if you don't know what fiduciary means, it means that the advisor is bound to select investments and give advice that is in the best interest of the client, not in the best interest of the advisor. Prior to that, and when I was in the program at UCLA, the CFP board was using the suitability standard, which is much looser and can result in people who are using financial planners investing in things that are good for the planner and not so good for the client. So again, it's a different world now. The CFP board has adopted the fiduciary standard. Today, if you go and see a CFP, you are getting advice that is in your best interest. You might pay a lot for it because the people who were working as CFPs prior to this being adopted, they lost some revenue streams. So you might end up paying more through other ways, but at least you know that the advice that you will be getting is in your best interest. So let's talk a bit about the curriculum for the program that I was in at UCLA. And the reason that I talk about CFPs so much is because that is what the program is designed for. It is intended for people who are already working in the financial services industry and want to get their CFP designation, or for people who are interested in joining the financial planning industry and looking to get some coursework under their feet or under their wings before they join the workforce. So there are 9 different courses in the program. It starts with a survey level course where they give you a little bit of everything. Then there's a technical course, and in the technical course, you learn things like how to build an amortization schedule, how to discount a bond, how to calculate the internal rate of return, things like that. Very much math focused and only math focused. Then there are courses in each of 5 subject areas, and those subject areas are insurance, investments, personal income tax, retirement planning, and estate planning. Then there's an ethics seminar, and there's a capstone class. So that is all 9 of the courses that you take when you're working on that program. So you probably have noticed that there's something missing. And what's missing is the budgeting or saving and spending. So all of this will tell you about things that you should be doing with your money in terms of making sure that you're protected, but it doesn't teach you how to save for a house or how to plan for your children's education or how to get out of debt or how to plan your spending each month. That is completely absent. So when working with a financial planner, so that you know, there is an assumption that is kind of baked into the cake that when you are looking for advice on all of these different areas, that you already have a good handle on how you budget your money. And that leads me to wanting to get on my soapbox a little bit. And it's the same soapbox that I've been on before, and that is about financial education in schools. Excuse me. And the reason that I want to get on my soapbox is because often I hear from people who are in dire financial straits that the reason that they are struggling with money, or one, at least one of the reasons, is because they didn't get an education in school on how to manage their finances. And I think that is valid to a point. I certainly didn't get one, and I landed in a pit, um, as many other people do. But on the other hand, there's a lot of things that you need to learn how to do as an adult just to function in life that you aren't given in school or you aren't taught in school. When I was in high school, home economics was not offered. It had just been dropped from the curriculum probably about 4 years prior. So they didn't teach us how to cook. And even when they had a home economics program, not everybody took it. So the people who didn't take home economics, or like in my cohort, when it wasn't offered, we still had to teach ourselves how to cook. We still had to learn how to feed ourselves, whether we asked our parents, or we worked in a restaurant, or we used a cookbook, or whatever the case was. There was no YouTube then. There was the Food Network, I think, but it was in its infancy. So the amount of formal education around cooking in particular when I was in high school was next to nil, but I still managed to do it, and other people in my class managed to do it too. So I think it saying that you didn't get a financial education in school to a certain extent is a valid complaint, but that can't be the crutch forever. You can't be saying when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, what have you, and you're in debt or your finances are a mess or whatever the case may be, well, I didn't learn how to do this in school. Okay, but you've had some number of years afterward in which to take the initiative to learn how to do it on your own. Some people learn at a different pace. I didn't start learning really until I was in my late 30s. But I didn't rely on the crutch that the reason why things were a mess was because I didn't get the education in high school. So just something to think about. So there's that. There's also the fact that, okay, now you know from me explaining what was in the CFP curriculum, that even people who are trained in this formally, who go to college for it, who make a career out of it, even they aren't trained in how to budget their money. So they have to learn it somewhere too. And the last point that I want to make here is that whatever you would have been taught in high school probably doesn't have very much utility today. Some of it, sure. If they teach you how to match income to expenses, that is a valuable skill. But the other mechanics of managing your money probably looks completely different today than it did when you were in school. So from my perspective, when I was in high school, people were still balancing their checkbooks. People were still writing checks. There was no cryptocurrency. You couldn't use a credit card at the supermarket. There were no smartphones. There were no apps. There was no YouTube. There was none of that. The internet was still very young. People still got their bank statements in the mail each month, and they were chock full of canceled checks. So saying now, well, I didn't get that education in high school. Okay, roll the clock back 30 years and teach me what was correct then. Not much of it applies now. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to continually learn. When I was in school, the buzzword was being a lifelong learner. And I always cringed at that because it sounded so airy-fairy. But now that I'm older, I realize what they were getting at. That what you learn in school is not just a one and done, and this is all you need to know for the rest of your life, and you are absolved from learning anything once you get your diploma. You have to be able to keep learning, keep adapting, keep growing so that you can make it in the world. Okay, so I'm going to get off the soapbox with that, and I'll try not to get back on again because I know that's not the first time I've brought it up. So after UCLA, I knew that there was still more that I needed to do to figure out how to manage my money. I had taken the estate planning class, um, and like I say, I didn't finish all the coursework. I know I didn't take the income tax class, and I think the other one that I missed was insurance. And the reason that I didn't take the income tax class was because the tax code changes every year. So just like with the principle of learning in high school how to manage your money, taking a class on income tax, and then next year a new administration blows in and everything changes. It didn't seem like a valuable use of my time because I wasn't planning on going into that field. I was just learning this for myself. So, what I did was I developed something that I call the Strive method. And Strive stands for savings and spending, taxes, retirement, insurance, investments, and estate planning. The V stands for investments because we had another I with insurance already. And what I did was I figured out what I wanted to accomplish from each of those in the next month. And I did them one at a time. So I started with savings and spending, and I thought, okay, here's where I am, here's where I want to go, here's what I can do in a month. And I wrote that down. Next month, I moved on to taxes, and I focused on one at a time. And month after that, retirement. And the reason that I focused on one at a time is because I think one reason why people whose financial lives are a mess, the reason that things stay a mess is because they're overwhelmed. There's all these different dimensions to personal finance that you have to take care of. You have to get your spending in order. You have to figure out what you're doing with your taxes so you're not overpaying the government or underpaying and paying penalties. You need to plan for your retirement. You have to make sure you have the adequate amount of insurance. You have to make sure you're invested in the right thing. And you have to create an estate plan so that when you do pop your clogs, your heirs are not left with a mess of their own. So I made all of these little goals, and I worked through them a month at a time, knowing that when I got to the end, after month 6, when I had finished estate planning, I was going to come back and start over. And I wasn't going to do the same things again necessarily that I'd done the first time around, but I would have had some months with each to figure out, okay, what do I want to do next? When my focus is on savings and spending next time around, what do I want to accomplish that time? Or what's not working? What do I need to pay attention to? What do I need to fix? And in the coming weeks, I'll go into detail about the kinds of plans that I made and the readings that I did and the learning that I did, because I didn't get all of the knowledge that I needed out of UCLA. There was still more that I had to figure out on my own. So I'll talk about those in detail in the coming weeks. We'll start with savings and spending next week because they don't teach you that in the financial planning class. They don't teach you how to save for a house or how to save for your kids' education or how to get out of debt or anything like that. So I'll talk about that next week. And, hopefully that will help somebody. Anybody who's feeling overwhelmed or paralyzed by all of the different things that you have to do with your money, there is hope out there. There is a way to address things calmly. And yes, there's going to be some important things that are going to have to wait. But realistically, if you're in paralysis and you're not doing anything with anything anyway, then, you're no worse off. You're at least taking some action and breaking things down into a method, I'll put it that way, that will help. So I hope that it's useful for someone out there. And give me feedback. Once we get into that, let me know what you think, because I'm interested in other people's perspectives. All I can tell you is what I did for me, in order to bring calm into my own financial life. And this is when I was already getting out of debt. I was already almost all the way there. So it was making sure that I had a plan so that I didn't find myself right back in the same pit. So thank you so much for listening and for watching this week. I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, comment down below because I'd love to hear from you. And until I see you in the next one, take care.